Is Omoyele Sowore, a former presidential candidate who was arrested for calling the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, an illegal IGP, was granted bail on Thursday by the Federal High Court in Abuja in the sum of 10 million naira, with one surety. The presiding judge in the case also ordered Sowore to deposit his international passport with the court registrar and ruled that the surety must have verified landed property in the Federal Capital Territory. Well, on Wednesday, Sowore rejected the bail conditions presented to him, describing them as frivolous. Let's take a look.
The police came, charged me for offenses that were contrary to the police service rules 367, which says that no police officer should use the police office to carry out personal vendetta. That's pretty much how that was described. But the IG of police, the illegal IG of police, I'm repeating it here again today, Kayode Egbetokun, is doing just that. I rejected the administrative bail of the police because I cannot, in good conscience, continue to participate in illegality. The courts have made it very clear that the police have no right to grant administrative bail that asks for civil servants to own, first and foremost, 100 million naira houses, which is a crime. That's corruption. To stand bail for me, who is an employer of labor, a level 17 officer in the civil service, is a permanent secretary who is politically appointed by the president. So you expect such a person to come and stand shorty for Sowore? I'm not being arrogant and I'm not bragging. But, you know, in 1992, when I was a student leader, Tinubu was a senator. And I was more powerful than him in the Nigerian society.
People said Tinubu has suffered. Why? Somebody said, what has Tinubu got to do with this one now again? Why bring him in? But obviously, this whole conversation has sparked a debate online. I believe that, you know, the AGF has maintained that the IGP is legal because his tenure was extended. But obviously, you know, people will question this sort of detention tactics by this administration especially. We have taken a lot of stories on what's trending regarding just people's comments. He said IGP is illegal, now he's in detention, he has to, you know, bring out 10 million naira. Well, in another development, Nigeria's former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, has reacted to the arrest of Professor Usman Yusuf, a former executive secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme, who was arrested on Wednesday by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for alleged corruption involving budget inflation to the tune of 3.7 billion naira and awarding contracts to family members. The Federal Capital Territory High Court in Kuje deferred his arraignment to February 3rd, 2025. Let's take Atiku Abubakar's tweet. Atiku wrote, "When I made the clarion call that Tinubu and the APC were devoting their energies to the systematic harassment, intimidation, and dismantling of the opposition, all in service of their grand design for a one-party autocracy, I became the target of vicious attacks. The arrest and baseless persecution of Omoyele Sowore is the latest chapter in this unrelenting campaign. Now they have seen fit to add Professor Usman Yusuf, an outspoken critic of this administration, into their grim roster. At the pace they are going, it seems they may soon find themselves contending with the incarceration of every one of us." And that is the actual rhetoric Rufai online. I'll take a comment following Atiku Abubakar's tweet. Sanusi wrote, "The arrest of Professor Usman Yusuf, a staunch critic of Tinubu, may be viewed as a political witch hunt to silence dissent. Also, recent arrests of figures like Shehu Mahdi, Dele Farotimi, and Omoyele Sowore for government criticism raise concerns about a shrinking democratic space in Nigeria." Thought it was important to highlight that.
No, it does raise a lot of concerns, and it's quite very shocking. We don't even know why he was picked up in the front of his family. For what reason, we don't know. I know prior to this time, there was a
Usman.
Yeah, Yusuf, Usman, talking about Usman. Yeah. Prior to this time, some media I saw online was trying to, as much as possible, to make allusion to the fact that, okay, there was NHIS, but that was a while back, so that matter has not been broached again. So why is arrest at this point in time? Also, the case of, Mahdi Shehu, they said because he posted a video that is not true. As the police, and I repeat, and security agencies not said or posted things that are untrue in this country?
That's the question a lot of people are asking.
This high-handedness, and because they said he posted videos that were not true when we were talking about friends trying to set up a base here. In this day and age, yes, you're supposed to verify, but there are people too that post things that it's not, that they've checked up and it's been shown not to be corresponding to what is happening at that point in time.
Yes.
So the DSS now holding him on. But what about the people that fomented trouble? I keep referring to Lagos here. What about people that threaten ethnic bigotry in Lagos against the Igbos? The DSS, we never heard they picked them up. It was some people that talk about Mama Chukudi. We never hear they picked them up. In fact, the police came out to defend them. So this selective justice, and for what Sowore is saying, he's making a very valid point. You are saying he should have shorty by PAMSEC, government official, level 16, level 17, with about 100 million.
That's, I mean, when I...
So that's an invitation to corruption in a country where you pay 70,000 minimum wage.
Correct.
So what is going on here? And concerning also the points of the IG, I think what I'm just saying is, I'm not saying they've not put in the law, they've not fashioned the law in such a way that he can use full tenure of 4 years. But there are also civil service laws that a lot of people expect that once you push up the ladder, other people will come after you. So, and like I asked today, if the IG in good conscience is saying, okay, my tenure is 4 years, if he was in the shoes of the DIGs now, that they think they will naturally fall in line, lots of Frank Oban, a couple of other DIGs,
yes,
and he saw he's seen because of tenure elongation is never going to be IG, how would he feel? It's just a question of conscience I'm asking.
Yeah.
How would he personally himself feel? Yeah. And this is the bone of contention. Although the police forces, the police spokesmen have come out to clarify that his tenure has been elongated.
Yes.
We've taken that.
Correct.
But how would he feel if he's been put in that position?
Correct.
That's just what I'm asking.
Correct. Dr. Bati, Ayo made the point yesterday about the overhaul of the Cybercrime Act. Only yesterday, we took the story of Charles, and Muyiwa Adejobi had said something about, it's because Charles accused the IG of budget padding. And what the comment Rufai made about, have people not lied? People in public office, have they not lied? And have they not posted these things online? If they believe it is a lie, why detain these individuals for so long? Charge them to court and, have a better process instead of it seeming like some sort of clampdown.
Okay, every accused person has the right under the Constitution to fair hearing. Sections 35 and 36. Where you abuse the rights of persons to fair hearing, yes, the public can legitimately complain.
Yes.
As for the issue about the Cybercrime Act, I said where there have been abuses, you can push for amendment. But to say in an illiterate manner that it should be abolished, that's not how the process works. Because you cannot abolish a law by fiat. It will still have to go through a legislative process. To the main issues this morning. One, Sowore is right. You recall that when you first brought this Sowore matter, I said it was right in the sense that he said, he will not allow the administrative bail by the police. And I quoted Dasuki versus DGSSS, a 2020 case determined by Ada JCA, in which he stated exactly the same thing that Sowore has repeated. So Sowore must have been properly advised by his lawyers. And I quoted Femi Falana SAN, who had also pushed that line. But the court bail is superior to the administrative bail. Now he has been given a bail, 10 million and all of that. Well, the matter is before the court, as it were. As for the Attorney General of the Federation, which I keep saying is the only position that is recognized in the Constitution of Nigeria, apart from the position of special advisors, 22 special advisors that the president is constitutionally allowed to employ. Now, what the Attorney General of the Federation, who is the chief law officer of the Federation, is saying, is that the position of Egbetokun is lawful and legal. And he based his position on Section 7 sub 6 of the Police Act as amended. What the Civil Service Rule says is that, you must retire if you get to the age of 60 or you have done 35 years in service, whichever comes first. But in this particular case, the chief law officer of the Federation says is validly there in the light of the amendment to Section 7, Sub 6 of the Police Act. So it's not a thing to be emotional about. That's the thing about that. And then what was the other story about Professor Usman Yusuf? Professor Usman Yusuf is a noted critic of this government.
Yes.
However, in 2019, he was relieved of his position as the Executive Secretary of the NHIS, the National Health Insurance Scheme, the Professor of Hematology and Oncology. At that time, the Federal Ministry of Information was investigating something about expenditures of about 919 million. And at the end of it, they recommended to the Buhari administration that he should be relieved of his position. And that was what happened. Now, in 2018, EFCC is saying a petition had been submitted against him in terms of the management of funds. Now, EFCC in 2025 is now going after him. Now, the question has been raised, why now?
Why now?
Well, the thing is that in law, there is no statute of limitation on fraud in Nigeria. So if you commit fraud 20 years ago, they can come after you in the future. However, the question is about why now, which common sense would raise those questions. Is he now being arrested because he's very critical of government, particularly on the issue of banditry and insurgency and the rights of the people of the North?
Absolutely.
Is he being targeted because he's vocal? But as to the legality of the process, the EFCC has made it very clear that he'll be arraigned on February 3. What are they accusing him of? Abuse of process, violation of contracts,
Inflation.
4 billion naira that they want explained. We can only insist again, as in the case of Sowore, that his rights must be respected. Fair hearing must be respected. And if he's taken to court, all his rights must be respected. He must be given the opportunity to defend himself. As for Atiku Abubakar, saying this is persecution, harassment of Sowore and Professor Yusuf, what do you expect the Waziri Adamawa to say? He has to worry more also about the implosion within the PDP.
Within his party. All right.
Because the party is imploding, and some people say Waziri Adamawa is part of the problem. So instead of criticizing the outsider, he should lead the process of removing the log in the eyes of the PDP.
All right. Well said, Dr. Abati. Remove the log in your eye before you go and touch the speck in others. Well, all right.